What's up, guys? Chase Oliver 68 here, bringing you another Q&A. There's no coup de trumba on this one, so hopefully that doesn't upset any of you guys. But anyways, let's get started with the Q&A. Clarkson Lopez asked me 3 questions. He asked me, do you think music industry sucks nowadays? That's an interesting question right here. The music industry, let me just tell you guys right now, I am not the biggest guy to ask when it comes to music. I like music. I'm not one. Like, for me, I listen to any type of music. I'm very open-minded when it comes to music. But, like, the thing is, I don't really think the music industry is as big as it was back in, like, the 90s, the 80s, or really even, like, the 70s. I mean, I think the music industry, it's always, like, there's always a flavor of, like, the month or flavor every 3 months. Like, it'll be like this band comes out and they're just, like, the hottest thing for 3 months. And then after their 3 months and their first album, it's pretty much like, oh, I'm done with that person. Like, some people will stay loyal to that person, but then they just go no. And then same with rappers, like this rapper, like he has been rapping for like probably like 8 years underground, underseen. People have been downloading his tracks. All of a sudden now he's just getting popular, and then when it comes down to it, when the rapper becomes popular, they turn their backs on them. They say, no, that guy's no longer cool. I mean, you used to do underground, now it became mainstream. I think the music industry, for me personally, is not as great. I feel like none of the songs nowadays are just like anything too special. I just don't like the music industry now today. I do listen to music though. I'm just not like, huge on it. I just listen to whatever people play. Like, if you play me any songs, I sit back and I listen. I have an open mind when it comes to music. I'm not like a huge music junkie. I do like listening to music though. Next question he asked me, do you listen to heavy metal? Well, obviously, I said I listen to all different types of music. Yes, I do listen to heavy metal. Heavy metal is a really good type of music. For some reason, it's weird. Some people get pumped up when listening to heavy metal. I just get relaxed listening to heavy metal. Heavy metal songs, some of them have deeper meanings than what most people think. That's the thing about heavy metal. Heavy metal is just so deep when you listen to the actual lyrics. Yeah, sometimes, some guys, well, I don't know, isn't when they're screaming, that's screamo different than heavy metal? I mean, I know heavy metal has screaming parts, but I don't know the complete difference. Like, I don't know the difference between death metal, heavy metal, and complete metal. If you guys want to know, like, the difference between metal, ask Metal D from Off the Road Show. I'm pretty sure he knows more about metal than me. That's 100% sure. Clarkson Lopez asked me also, have you ever played SmackDown Here Comes the Pain? If yes, what did you think of the game? Yes, I have played SmackDown Here Comes the Pain. If anything, for me, it's probably my favorite wrestling game, next to No Mercy. Yeah, I mean, everyone loves No Mercy, but definitely Here Comes the Pain is probably my favorite PS2 game, one of my favorite PS2 games of all time. Here Comes the Pain was an awesome wrestling game. I just loved it because it was simple. It wasn't like gimmicky. I didn't care that we didn't have commentators. I didn't care, like, you know what I'm saying? Like the OMG moments. I don't care about these cinematics. It wasn't gimmicky. It was just straight up, here's a wrestling game, go play it. It was simple. And the thing about video games nowadays is, like, a lot of video games nowadays, they try to evolve faster than they should. Like, they will add stuff that it's faster than they should. Like Call of Duty. It's always the same game pretty much every year. All they add is like kill streaks and stuff like that. And it's still successful when people buy it. Why? Because it's very simple. It's nothing really too abstract to play. But when a certain game comes out and it's just like, the format completely changes, that's when, like, people start to get upset with games. And I can understand why, because, the Hitman series, recently the new Hitman game that came out, you had the option to play it like the old style, but there's a new style game that a lot of fans probably didn't like if they played the original Hitman games. Need for Speed, for me, I'm a huge Need for Speed fan. I love Need for Speed, but I feel like they've changed so much in how you drive those cars. It's not like the same. Like, a lot of people were like, what's the difference? You gotta have played past Need for Speed to know. The feelings of the cars when you drive them are too much different. They tried to go too realistic. And the thing is, when you're playing a racing game just for fun on a video game console, do you want so much realism? No, you don't. Like Grand Theft Auto, it's cool that this year's Grand Theft Auto is going to have it where your guy's going to grow facial hair, your guy's going to grow his own hair, you have to get him a haircut. That's cool. But what if Grand Theft Auto made it where, oh yeah, if you hit a car, your car stops working? No one wants to play that. No one wants to play a too realistic Grand Theft Auto. I mean, the whole point of Grand Theft Auto is just to have fun in a sandbox style and do crazy, insane shit. if we play too much realistic games, it won't be as fun. You get what I'm saying? I hope you understand what I'm saying about realism in video games. But I do love SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, one of my favorite games of all time. And I think it's probably the best wrestling game since either 2006 or 2007 for SmackDown versus Raw that came out. Anyways, thank you for the questions. WCW3 Count 123 asked me, have you ever played any Driver game series? And if so, which Driver game do you like and hate the most? My dad played Driver. I watched him play Driver. Driver looked interesting. Like I said, I was a Need for Speed type of guy, and Burnout, before they, like, you know, stopped being, like, true racing games. But yeah, I like the Driver series, like, but I've never really played it. I've watched my dad play it. What are your favorite video games, protagonists, and antagonists from any fucking series? Who? Favorite video game protagonists and antagonists? In all honesty, I'm not gonna lie. When it comes to protagonists, I don't really like a lot of good guys in video games. I just don't. I always feel like the good guys in video games, they just don't really interest me because you're playing as them. Okay, you're playing as a protagonist as them, and yeah, you know, you may like their attitude. Like Snake, I kind of like his attitude. Sonic the Hedgehog in the Sonic Adventure series, I like him, but it's just like you're going to win no matter what. The antagonist is not going to win in this game. You're going to win in this game. So, like, you know, in all honesty, it's just like when you're the protagonist, you're always going to win. So, what is there to really like? I mean, yeah, the character, but other than that, you're always going to win. You already know that you're going to win the game as a protagonist. Now, with antagonists, the recent Far Cry game, I forgot his name. I feel bad because he was really funny, really cool. I liked him in the recent Far Cry game. You know, there was a couple antagonists in Call of Duty Black Ops series that I liked. They were pretty good antagonists. They mindfucked you. I feel the Black Ops campaign mindfucked you a lot. Like, the Modern Warfare campaign was crazy, but the Black Ops campaign was really, really good. I would say Master Chief from Halo is another protagonist I guess I like, even though, like I said, like, I don't really like that much protagonist, but, like, he's a badass, so I guess that counts. Who else is another cool protagonist? Like, antagonist is, like Ryzen, like, you know, that's a good one. You know, it's just like Liquid Snake. I mean, there's so many good antagonists. There's like protagonists, you just know you're gonna win with them, so it's hard to like really like them. But that's pretty much it. And you asked me, do you watch Disney Channel or Nickelodeon? I used to watch Disney Channel a lot. If I do watch Disney Channel, it's because they either have like a old school Disney original channel movie on there, or like an old school Disney movie that I used to watch back when I was a kid. So, like, you know, like, Get a Clue. Like, do you guys remember that Disney Channel original movie? Yeah, I'll watch Disney Channel if that's off. Like, because I was like, oh, I like this movie. Like, that's pretty much it with Disney Channel. Nickelodeon, I don't really watch the main Nickelodeon station anymore. I don't even know what's going on there. But there is a Nicktoons and a Teen Nick station. Those are, like, the two stations that I kind of watch sometimes because on Teen Nick, there's like shows like the Rugrats, all that they show, like I Love the 90s at night, so I do watch that, even though I've seen like pretty much all that episodes, so I kind of get bored with it. And then Nicktoons is pretty much just like every old school Nickelodeon show. So like you get the good SpongeBob on there, you get the good Fairly Odd Parents. Like I watch those stations, but I don't really think they fall under the category of Nickelodeon. Also, Nicktoons has Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is a fucking awesome show. So, thank you for the questions, WCW3 Count 123. Final Limits 1 asked me, what would you have Steve Austin been like if, like, had he ever never went to the WWF and stayed his whole career in WCW till its demise? Probably Steve Austin would have ended up becoming Stone Cold in WCW. I don't see how that's not a possibility. I mean, if he was going to be coming in WWF, you would think the WCW would have done the same thing. He was going to become like a version of Stone Cold Steve Austin, but maybe different. Why did HHH, Taker, and Edge cut their hair? That's an interesting question, Final Limits. I think HHH, Triple H, cut his hair because, really, to be honest, he has to look professional nowadays. And the long hair and the ponytail, you know, it's not the 90s anymore, dude. You got to cut that. I mean, he looked like a weirdo with the long hair. I mean, yes, the long hair made him look more of a badass, but in the long run, short hair is fine enough for Triple H. Taker was just getting old, and really, to be honest, when you're like 50, do you want to deal with long hair every day? No, I wouldn't want to deal with that, so I can understand why Taker cut it. Edge, same with Edge, his long hair kind of felt like shorter when it became like I would want to say like 2006 is when Edge started having like shorter long hair. Like before Edge, used to have that long girly hair. Then he kind of like cut it to like this length. And the thing is, Edge has been like cutting his hair, and also like the long hair. If Edge is not wrestling, what's the point of him having long hair? I mean, because like the thing with Edge is like he would pull his hair back. Sorry about that. Pull his hair back like that, and that's what was like, man, Edge is pissed off. Nowadays, it's like, well, he's not going to be wrestling anymore, so why does he need the long hair? So I understand I understand why you would probably miss it, Final Limits, but just understand, when you move on from the wrestling world, you're going to cut your long hair. I mean, Kane doesn't have his long hair anymore. And you also asked me, what boss battle have you been stuck on in Kingdom Hearts game that took you a long time to beat? Boss battle. I'm pretty sure most little kids were stuck on this boss battle. If not, I'm the only one, but I know a lot of people were. Riku Ansem 2. Riku 2, as I call him. Hollow Bastion. Pretty much after you beat Dragon Maleficent. And Dragon Maleficent is one of the hardest bosses. But after you beat Dragon Maleficent, you had Riku 2. It was Riku Ansem. And the thing about the original Kingdom Hearts, which pissed me off, was that you couldn't skip the cutscenes. You couldn't skip these fucking cutscenes. So you had to sit there and watch it. And then the whole cutscene was so long, so over dramatic, just to the point where it was just like, oh my god. And you had to beat this. And I always remember, when he's like, surrender now. And then Sora blocks this. He's like, no, you're not taking Kyrie's heart. Fucking pulls the Keyblade out. You have Sora in his stupid stance and Riku doing this. And then all of a sudden just starts that music playing. Dun, 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 dun. And then later on, Riku's just like making those noises. And then when he says surrender, at the time when you're a little kid, you don't think of strategy. You just think button mash, button mash, button mash, button mash, button mash, button mash. Nowadays, I think Riku 2 is probably one of the easier bosses, and I kind of think it's stupid that I struggled a lot against it. But when he used to say surrender, I would be L1X, 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 cure. Oh, no, die. I literally hated Riku 2 with the Burning Pack. That boss right there literally made me never want to play this game again because I was getting upset. I even level grind. I level grinded so hard after that. Like I remember, this pissed me off. I remember one time I was level grinding, and I was like, at the time when playing this game, just to keep in mind, I'm a little kid. I've never level grinded in my life. Not even in Pokemon games, I had to level grind because when I was a little kid in Pokemon, I would just have like 3 Pokemon with me at all times. I was like, why do I need to capture 6? These 3 are badasses. Let me use these 3. But the thing was, when it came down to it, it was just like, okay, I gotta do all this bullshit for what? Train for Riku too. So I was level grinding, and I was just pressing X. I was facing enemies, and I remember one time it pissed me off so much. I was level grinding. I think I made my level 36 sword to like level 45, and I never really saved. I didn't like I said again. I never thought of strategy, so I didn't really save. And then all of a sudden, my power went out, and I just threw the controller down. I was just like, no, I'm done. And then I didn't touch Kingdom Hearts probably for like 2 weeks, and then I was kind of like craving to play it, and then I turned it on. I played it again, and I just said, fuck level grind. I'm just gonna fight Riku 2. And I don't know what happened. I just kicked this guy's ass. Like, I just was, like, actually playing smart. I wasn't playing stupid. I read the strategy guide on what you need to do. And so I just played smart, and I finally beat him. That was the only boss that ever gave me problems in Kingdom Hearts. If you guys have any problems with any game boss, just comment down below. I want to know which game bosses you had problems with. Even if it's not Kingdom Hearts. Like, it could be Final Fantasy. It could be any game. Real Spider-Man Noir fan. Why did you stop smoking weed, man? It's so good. Weed is cool to me. I just don't do it a lot. Didn't stop smoking it. What did you think of Zach Gowen? Interesting. Like Vince said, you got the one-legged wrestler to John Laurinaitis. That's for sure. But interesting to say the least. I wasn't really huge on Zach Gowen. And his final question is, what was the worst game you have ever played in your entire life? And why don't you like Final Fantasy games? All right, the worst game I've ever played in my entire life. I was a little kid, okay? But when I was a little kid and I was going to school, I was taking like advanced spelling classes. Like I'm not like a genius, but I'm pretty smart, smarter for my age and stuff like that. So that's why school comes easy to me. That's why when people like struggle in school, I always find it weird. Like, how can you not just sit down and study? Maybe because I study a lot and I have no problem with studying. But the most ridiculous game to me, and this was me as a little kid. My mom got this game just because I like Sesame Street. Okay, it was Elmo on a fucking pogo stick, and you're Elmo, and fucking Elmo had to collect the letters to spell words. I was like, what the fuck is this? Because I thought it was just like Elmo Adventure. I thought it was like an Elmo video game where you got to play as Elmo. I was excited. I thought it was an Elmo platformer. No, it was just Elmo on a fucking pogo stick going, ah, oh, I got the letter A. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? I turned it off after that. And why don't I like the Final Fantasy games? In all honesty, I'll admit, Final Fantasy games to me are not my favorite games. I just feel like the series is not that good. I mean, it's just that to me, Final Fantasy is just like so overhyped by a lot of people. I know a lot of fans are going to be upset with that. But to me, Final Fantasy gets so overhyped by a lot of people. And it's just like, why? Why should I like Final Fantasy games? I mean, Final Fantasy 7, it's just like everyone just like overhypes that game, saying it's like the best game ever. But what makes it the best game ever? I mean, it's just like every other Final Fantasy game or JRPG at that time with the turn-based attack system. I mean, was it because Cloud was an interesting character? Was it because Sephiroth is one of the most greatest villains? I mean, really, to be honest here, it's like just Final Fantasy, I feel like always tries to screw with its fans and like never really puts out really great games back to back to back. Like, you know, obviously we didn't get 1 through 6 until very later. I think we did get 6 on the Super Nintendo. I'm not 100% sure on that one. But what the thing is, Final Fantasy 7, you know, I would probably say it was a good game. From seeing like a lot of reports on it and seeing like, you know, a lot of from it, I would probably think it is a good game. But then I hear people talk about 8 and 9 not being a good game, 10 being an okay game, and then they give you 10-2, 11's an MMORPG, 12, I was like, I don't know what people thought of 12. My brother said it was not that great. 13, my brother said was probably one of the most insulting games. And then 13-2, like, it just felt like, why are you giving all this crap? And then 14's an MMORPG that no one really thought was that great. I mean, when it comes down to it, Final Fantasy, I just feel like, you know, fucks with their fans too much. And I just feel like, you know, a lot of fans, you know, just get blinded by the name Final Fantasy. And it's not just the Final Fantasy fans. It's just like any video game fan for their certain genre. Like, Kingdom Hearts blinds their fans a lot. Like, I'll admit, Kingdom Hearts does. I mean, 1 and 2, obviously, are like probably some of the best Kingdom Hearts games. But then, like, they release all these stupid handheld games. Like, who wants to buy these fucking handheld games? I mean, in person now, and in all honesty, it's like, you know, there's other alternatives to get these games for free, but you want to support the cause. And I just feel like, you know, there's a lot of video games that, like, you know, fuck with people a lot. You know, there's a lot of video game franchises. But I feel Final Fantasy, you know, does a terrible job because they rarely innovate. Some of the characters, you know, most of the people don't even like half of the characters in the Final Fantasy universe. Like, most of the time when I talk to Final Fantasy fans, they only like maybe the protagonist, the main antagonist. The protagonist is like love interest or, you know, sidekick, and that's it. Every other character they say sucks. I mean, Final Fantasy 13, I haven't met one person that said my favorite character is this guy. Like, out of all the characters, everyone has told me like Final Fantasy 13 had some of the worst fucking characters, and then even 13-2 they said still some of the worst fucking characters. And to me, that's hard for me to get into a game like that. I just don't like Final Fantasy. I feel many people overrate Final Fantasy. I could probably go into a Final Fantasy rant one day, but other than that, that's pretty much it. But thank you guys for sending in the questions. Remember, you guys can inbox me here on YouTube, and I know that I changed the layout from the original YouTube layout that I was doing before. I had no choice. I just said, fuck it. They're going to make me change it anyway, so why not? Also, you can send me the questions beyond Twitter, and Final Limits 1 and Real Spider-Man Noir Fan, you know, figured out how to do the inbox, so they're most likely going to comment on this video, their thoughts on it. So if you need to ask them, like, how to send in the inbox, ask them, because they obviously know how to do it. I can't send inbox messages to myself. So, yeah. Anyways, guys, thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you all later. Peace!